Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tat Cave for our regular Tuesday hangout with myself and Zaheer. How are you, Zaheer?
Hi everybody. Yeah, there's a bit of an echo I can hear still.
Oh, is that me again?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. I'm not sure.
Let me move my mic away from the speakers.
Yeah, yeah, doing pretty well. Pretty chilled out actually at the moment. Just a bit relaxed. Been got the children at home with us for the next week still. Obviously they're on their Easter holidays, and we always find that kind of takes, especially since we've been up here and they're on their own. Not any family apart from us up here for them, so we tend to spend a lot more time with them, and as a consequence, work kind of takes a back seat.
Yeah, well, same here. We've got another week of Easter holiday, so Ellen's off school. Although she has a lot of revision to do for exams and stuff, we're just chilling out. And I was saying before we went live that I find it difficult if we're taking time off and we're based at home. I just gravitate to in here. I just end up working. So it was easier when we were away at the weekend at my sister's because I'm focused on that and I can't work.
But you always end up back in the office.
Yeah, easily.
That's
Easily done. I just wanted to ask in the chat, have we got an echo? Can you hear an echo? Are we both coming through loud and clear?
I think it's okay now.
Let us know in the chat in a minute. I'm going to read a few hellos, see who was first in. First in, £400 and down. Only says first in. And then we have Peter, second in, Twin Red Dragons, Andrew Robinson, Dr. Doodle-Doo, Jason is in there, Chelsea, Jaime, Lewis, The Business Wolf.
Sounds good.
Great name. Lots and lots of people popping in to say hello. So welcome, appreciate you dropping in. We don't have a guest today. We do have a guest lined up for next week, which hopefully will work out. So we're just going to chat. Our kind of loose theme we've got to start off with is the importance of taking time out, essentially, because we're both kind of in the middle of doing that, and how it's not that easy to do when you're self-employed.
I mean, I think the thing is, like, the main issue for me is, like you said, you've got the office right there. So when you're at home, it's all too easy to do that. And also, just to clarify, when I say that we're taking time out, it's not full time out, as it were. It's you're still going to be dipping in and out of answering questions or doing relists, or packaging items. So really, you're still not doing that much different. But definitely, there is, we're overall we're chilling out a bit, even though we're still doing those things.
Yeah, same here. For me, it's almost like a mental switch. I'm not beating myself up if I'm not working really hard.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm still working. I've still been packing orders. I've been sorting out these bottles today, which I'll touch on a bit later. But yeah, it's just a mental thing where if I decide I'm going to sit down for 2 hours for lunch and watch crappy telly, I'm fine with that at the moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or that's just definitely it. I mean, I've been messing around just with a bit of hi-fi stuff, listening to albums again on CD, just chilling out, just trying to relax overall. But you still have to, and I suppose when you've got your own business, you have to still maintain these things. And I don't think we need to put the shop on holiday mode or anything like that. We're not, to be fair, we're not that kind of volume of, we don't do that many volume in terms of sales for it to be an issue. We can still just, you sell a couple of things, you can just package a couple of things. It works out. It doesn't take much time.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, I mean, if we go properly away, as we will be in the summer, we'll stick it on holiday mode then. But for now, just for the Easter holidays, we're just trying to prioritize Ellen and time off a bit. Like today, we went to visit my sister and spent time with the twins. This afternoon, tomorrow, I'm going to visit my other sister. So yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice to recharge the batteries a bit. I'm just going to check in the chat. A couple of people saying it's all good. The sound's good, so thanks for that. Why can't I scroll up? I get this thing with the chat where I can't scroll it back up. It's really odd.
The missus just said it's echoing. Hope it's not echoing.
Oh, a lot of people said it was all good. If it starts echoing, just let us know in the chat, guys.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, there is an echo. Bloody hell! All right, I always try new things. It doesn't work. Hold on 1 second. Hold on one
I
second.
think it's your. Anyway, while Zaheer fiddles about with his new tech, I'll read a few comments. Exit to Ed's talking about Amazon fee increases again. I haven't looked into that. I haven't really been on the ball for the last week because we've been chilling out. Can Nick Hills do a video about that? I'll look into it and find out what it's all about.
Big increase, eh? No, I've changed into my headset again, so I'll do that Dalek thing, but I can't hear an echo now.
Okay.
So that's
Let us
good.
know in the chat if that's solved any echo, or it might even be at my end. I don't know. Alistair Nicholl says, evening all, usually watch the Tat Chat on catch up. Good to see you guys all the way here in Northern Ireland. Welcome, Alistair.
Welcome, definitely.
Right, let me just see what chat we've got. Jason Entwistle, hi Nick. I got a great DVD this weekend, Super Mario History 1985 to 2010 for £1. Was that the one that was issued with the anniversary? There was a game issued on the Wii in a big red box that came with a DVD, which I had a while back for the Wii, and they threw in a free DVD with that.
That sounds right. It was kind of had gold trim as well, didn't it? It was just a fancy version of New Super Mario Brothers, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
think
they
so.
reissued.
And it had you could yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
And the one I'm thinking of was just a card sleeve DVD that was put in that pack, a white sleeve with a little picture of Mario on it.
I know why. It's been echoing.
Why what?
I think I've been. It's still echoing now. That's weird. It should stop now. I think I'd forgotten to mute the second feed.
Let me check if I'm sure I muted mine before. I'm actually getting organised at this now. I think it's all good this end. Yeah, give us a shout in the chat if you hear the echo. Let's see what else we've got. UK reseller talking about the Amazon fees again. I'm going to have to look into that, guys. I am pretty much oblivious. Andrea did say that Amazon had sent us an email about fee increases, but I've not looked into it yet, so I couldn't give you an opinion yet. But any fee increase isn't going to help, put it that way.
Just means you have to look for higher margin items more regularly. Be a bit stricter with what you pick up, I guess.
Yeah. Doesn't sound good.
I can still hear an echo. I don't know if it's. Yeah, there's definitely an echo.
Let me turn my volume down even more.
I don't know.
I could try putting headphones in.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, yeah. The only thing I can think is if it's coming through your computer speakers and then your mic's picking it up.
Yeah, but we had it set up like this last time. Hold on. Let's do this. Now, nobody wants to see this. Quick, say something, Z.
Z, it's your end. Nick, you're fine, says Ketan. Echo's worse now.
Hold on.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys. Yeah, I do apologise for the technical issues. Really need to get this stuff sorted. Considering we do this chat weekly, it wouldn't take much to fix it.
Has that fixed it?
That has fixed it.
Oh,
yeah.
So it was me. Damn it.
There's no echo now.
I need to get a headset, don't I?
I don't think it's necessarily a headset. I think we just need to have stuff sorted out. I don't know.
It was fine before we went live.
Yeah, I know, it just happens. Okay, now we can concentrate.
Right, okay. Sorry everyone. How many Tat Chats have we done?
I don't know, but I feel comfortable now. I tell you what, one of the worst things when doing a live chat is to have an echo, guys. It is so distracting.
It's horrible.
It ruins the whole vibe of everything. You can't concentrate, especially when you've got such a small attention span like I have. You just can't have any distractions because then it just ruins it. So just want to say, Airplane is disappointed with both of us because we only found out 2 weeks ago that you can use wallpaper as wrapping paper. I've been doing this since I started. I'd like to add that I just didn't think of it. That's all. I was aware that the physics would allow it,
Yeah.
that it was fine, but I just never thought of it. I never connected the dots. So yeah, I do appreciate that. So it's brilliant. I think it's sounding fine now, definitely. Um, let's have a look.
Exit to Ed says it's funny to see Nick in a t-shirt and Zaheer's in a fleece.
I told I
I've got
don't
two
dress.
t-shirts on.
Yeah, you got two t-shirts. I think
I'm laying.
it's not cold, but this is really comfortable. That's all. It's very comfortable. And I like being comfortable. That's all. And when you go out, there's like a gust of wind, and I don't want to talk too much about my issues with the weather or anything. It's nice. It's just different temperatures. There's been quite a few comments in the chat about my hair as well.
Oh yeah. That's
Hair.
becoming a thing now. You just have to buzz it all off. Just shave it all off, be done with it.
I just can't. I don't. I like my hair, but I don't like going to the barbers either, as Niall pointed out earlier on in the chat. Let's have a look. All right.
There's a question there quickly. If you get some electricals that aren't working, do you sell for spares? Oh, I've lost it and I can't scroll back. Do you sell for spares?
Yeah. Do you sell for spares or repair? And if so, is it worth bundling them together if it's the same type of thing? Ask £400 and down. Was that the one?
Yeah, that was what I was trying to read. I'm just trying to get it so I can scroll back. I've split some stuff up for spares. It's just a case of doing the research. If the value is there as spares, then yeah, of course, break it down and sell it on for spares. But if it's not, if you do your research and it's not worth doing, just get rid.
And in regards to electricals, in terms of whole units, say if you're talking about items that you've purchased which just haven't worked or don't work quite as well, it's always worth, like I said, like Nick just said, doing that research, because I recently sold a faulty Walkman for 50 quid. And if it had been working, it would have been worth a hell of a lot more. And someone who's got the time and inclination and the skill to fix it will get that value. Otherwise, in the past, I have also bundled like similar Walkmans and CD players together to shift if they're faulty. Sometimes I just sell them on their own. They do sell. I mean, even on their own, you could probably get like a £5 plus shipping. Nothing great, but just some money back for yourself if you've bought something and it's turned out not to work. So yeah, definitely do that with electricals.
I thought it was interesting in your hangout with Beck on Friday, which I managed to catch some of on the way to the pub. I was watching it live walking down the street in Worthing. You were saying about with higher end electricals, you are trying to find someone to repair them professionally. And if the margin is there, then that's so worth doing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean the more rare something is, then yes, it can be worth getting stuff fixed. I mean, I've had a turntable fixed before, which was worth doing. I've currently got like a CD player away for fixing, which will add value. But the higher end you go, I mean, you can then you can actually start just breaking things down to constituent components, because especially if these are old items which you're not going to be able to get anymore, because people will pay good money for parts, because the problem with fixing old hi-fi isn't the actual fixing of the old hi-fi. It's the parts that are the trouble. I mean, sometimes just a few millimeters or even like a millimeter difference in the width of a rubber belt can be an issue. And obviously some parts are going to be plastic, and you won't be able to get them again. So it's not always that it's difficult for people to fix these things. It's just they don't have the parts. The parts become quite valuable. So
yeah, and for most people, it's just a step too far. It's a whole other world to even just to get some electronics open. You know what I mean?
Well, you've done it recently, haven't you? You've broken stuff down. And
only that projector, which I still haven't actually put back together with the new build.
but you've definitely taken parts of things, haven't you? Or
yeah, to an extent. I mean, that was fairly simple technology. That was a 1960s projector, and it's mechanical. It's not really an electrical repair.
Yeah.
This is a mechanical belt. So it's fairly simple. So I think I'm capable of doing that. So yeah, but it's definitely worth doing with some stuff. I just wanted to say hi to Lonnie and Swamp Pickers in there. Hi guys, glad you could join us. Well, lots of chat. I've had to open another chat window because I couldn't scroll back on that.
We've got to say thank you to the 125 people for joining us and for your immense patience with our slow start today. We're just warming up. The tech issues have obviously played their part today, but we're doing fine. We've got 120, over 120 people watching, which is fantastic. Let's have a look. Peter Cummins asked a question for you, Nick. With your Royal Mail account, if hypothetically you sold one item over 2 or 3 days, would you just fill your Royal Mail bag with one package? Of course, this would never happen.
No, because there's a £5 minimum order to put through. So if there was a scenario where I had one order, I'd just have to take it to the post office, because I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. To create an online order, it has to be £5 minimum to go through. So yeah. And it looks like they are phasing out PPI, and I'm going to switch to the, what do you call it, click and drop thing, which they're bringing in, which I believe incorporates the whole tracked barcode stuff. So I'm looking into that at the moment. I'm speaking to Royal Mail about how I switch over, and then I'll be just printing off labels which have the tracked incorporated, hopefully. So
is that just the same as the click and drop that they have on the website? Because you can just register for you kind of. I think I know a little bit about that, because I think you go to your local post office and they just well, no, you're talking about just paying for it all at home then.
I'm not sure. There's talk that they're going to phase out what I currently do and switch us over to this click and drop, I think, is a plan. I'm literally in the process of emails and letters and stuff and working out how I switch over. So not really sure.
I've used click and drop and it's all paid for online but I've not used any like business account version or anything. Just regular.
Well, I'd imagine it's a similar thing, but it's on but you get some sort of discounts because your business and your volume.
Yeah,
but I don't really know. But I'm looking forward to getting a little label printer and just doing it all with one click. And apparently it incorporates your eBay and Amazon, so you can import all of the stuff, which currently I can't do. So that's going to be great. But yeah, don't really know much more information yet. I was talking to Chelsea about it, actually. He gave me a number to call if I can't get anywhere with this. So yeah, we'll see if that works out. Let's have a look. Sue's in there from Sue's Piles of Shame. Oh, there's the question you just asked. Somebody's blaming me for something, apparently, usual.
It's standard, that is.
Oh, your blusher is a light pink tonight, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that comment. Yes, yeah. I've run out of my regular rouge, so had to switch down. Don't worry, I've got Amazon Prime, so it'll be on its way. Probably be drone delivered.
That whole drone delivery thing, I still think that's never going to happen. How are they feasibly going to do that?
They'll figure a way out, surely. I don't know. If it's within 30 minutes, yeah, shooting them down with BB guns and things. Yeah, God knows. More questions.
Kirsten's Curiosities has had to go, so thanks for popping in. She's going to catch up later.
Cool.
Exit to Red question for Nick: what happened to your PayPal chargeback? I have had to refund my £9.99 item, plus got charged £14 extra from the buyer's bank and admin costs. Thankfully, PayPal gave me all the money back in fees. Funny you should say that, because we phoned PayPal today because this chargeback, which dates back to December, an item which we sent out to the address that was registered with PayPal, they claimed their card was used fraudulently and their bank had reversed the payment, basically, and we had been charged £14 in fees. We rang PayPal and said, why have we been fined for this, effectively? And they just reversed the fee straight away on the spot. And they're still looking into it, and they're going to try and get the money back out of the bank. And so yeah, hopefully that's all sorted now. But yeah, we had a £14 fee, which I couldn't really understand, and the woman on the phone didn't really explain it to us either. It just didn't make sense.
In effect, kind of like like you said, a fine for taking a payment from a supposedly fraudulent transaction, which you've got
But
no control over. You can't
that's
do
what I
anything
said.
about it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't. It's not like you're in a shop and someone's handed you a library card with someone's card details written in biro, and you've
exactly.
typed. It's not like you've done that in the shop. You have no control over this
Well,
whole
I said to her, it
process.
feels like
Yeah,
we're getting punished for something that we had no control over and we weren't
yeah.
to blame. I said, what did we do wrong? And she said, well, there was nothing you could have done and nothing you did wrong. So I said, why have we been charged £14 then? And she had no answer for that. So she reversed it anyway. So it's all good.
Yeah, sometimes I think you just have to be prepared to communicate with these companies, which isn't always something I am in the mood to do. So I
Oh,
do try to avoid it. If I can fix something myself, I'll do everything I can to avoid speaking to avoid speaking to them. Not because they're bad service or anything necessarily. It's just I just don't really enjoy that whole aspect of things. It's
it
difficult for
takes
me.
it takes
Yeah.
a lot of time. And we've recently had issues with HMRC to do with our tax.
Yeah.
We had issues with eBay, and now we've had this PayPal issue. And every time you lose like half an hour or an hour on the phone, and it
It's
just eats up your
straining, yeah.
day.
And the worst thing is when you get transferred from one department to another and asked to repeat the same information that you've just told the person from,
Yeah,
from the department that they've sent you from. It can get frustrating. It really can. Yeah, but it is what it is. It's part of it. Thankfully, I've not really had too much of that kind of stuff to have to deal with, so cannot complain too much.
yes.
Um,
Jason's had a frustrating one. He says, I had a return request from an item I shipped via the global shipping program. So that's through
oh,
eBay. The
oh
buyer said
right.
I didn't package it well enough and it got damaged. Is it still down to eBay to refund or me? Well, I had a similar one recently. I sent out some ceramics that went to America via GSP, and the lady said that one of the items inside, because it hadn't been packaged well enough, but I packaged the hell out of this stuff. But anyway, she said one of them had been smashed. So I said, you need to contact eBay because that's eBay's issue because of GSP. That's what I put to her. And I never heard anything back. This is going back at least a month. And then I noticed I had a negative feedback on my account, went in, and lo and behold, it was her. She just complained about the packaging. So whether she'd actually gone to eBay and got her money back or whatever, I don't know.
I
But I
mean,
got negative for it.
it's a bit of a difficult one because I don't know if I had the same issue or not. Did something get damaged or not? But I remember I had to open a case. Um, yeah, I think something did arrive damaged via global shipping. And I think the risk is that you have to open a case, or you have to allow the seller to open a case. And the thing is, you literally have to. Whereas normally you would be encouraged to close the case before eBay step in to make a decision. As the seller, you've got to let eBay make the decision.
Yeah,
And in
and let
those
it run the
cases,
full length, don't
yeah,
you?
you have to yeah, and you have to trust that the whole GSP protection kicks in. Because I think I had that once where an item was damaged, and I was a bit uncomfortable about it, but I did what they said, and it was then closed in my favor because the reason I gave was it must have gotten damaged afterwards. I shipped it perfectly, etc., and
Yeah.
it must have gotten damaged during uh, you know must have gotten damaged whilst GSP had it. And the thing is, there's actually a couple of things which have been getting me thinking whether to offer GSP at all, or whether to offer my own shipping. Number one is obviously the cost.
Yeah.
Generally, I know you can be cheaper if you don't use GSP because a lot of times customers are going to have to pay your shipping and then their shipping, but that's not so much my issue. My issue is that some customers genuinely will not buy from you if you use GSP, because I don't know if you've heard this, that apparently some items get repackaged. Have you
Uh,
heard that at all? Like,
yeah, I did hear
yeah,
that in the early days, but
I,
I've not had any evidence to back it up.
neither have I, but there are people. I mean, I think I actually saw a YouTube video from some guy that lives in Japan. He's an American guy, lives in Japan, and he's a big arcade game fan and video game fan, and he orders like arcade boards from like arcade cabs from often the States. And you know, he's adamant. You know, he's had issues where he's had arcade boards delivered to him via GSP, and they've arrived smashed, and they've only been packaged in really poorly with like newspaper and stuff. And when he's contacted the sellers have sent photos and stuff of how they shipped it and described how they shipped it, and how he's received it is not how they've shipped it. And he contacted eBay, and he's gone through this. He's made like a big thing about this, and he has found out that it is apparently in Pitney Bowes remit. And this might not apply to us over here, but it might apply to people doing GSP from the States. But apparently they can go in and check your items to see whether your items are in you know, your items are like what they say they are, and whether they're damaged or not when they receive them, and then they can repackage them. So there is a possibility that you might package the hell out of something, and as a spot check they might just open your parcel to make sure it's not damaged before they send it off, but then when they repackage it they'll do like a piss poor job of it. So
yeah, you've really got to trust them in that case. And the thing is, I can understand that they need to open stuff to check if it's, you know, something that's legal to be sent airmail, for example. You know what I mean? They've got to, because it's on them, isn't it? The onus is on them to check those things. But if they're not repackaging at least to an equal standard, then
well, that's the worry. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people, and if you actually start then reading this, there are a lot of people that have had the same worry where they've stopped using GSP because their items were repackaged, and when they were repackaged, they were repackaged poorly. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone else in the chat has had anything similar, because that's kind of worrying. But see how that goes. I mean, saying that, I've had some brilliant experiences with GSP recently. I've just had you know, a near £500 amp delivered to a very, very happy customer over in Italy. And even better than that, I've had a turntable, a vintage turntable. And anyone that's shipped turntables will know how delicate these things are, how probably one of the worst things that you can ship. And I've just had a customer over in Australia receive his turntable via GSP, and they couldn't have been happier. They've left amazing feedback, and the items arrived perfectly. And I'd like to say that that's down to my awesome packaging, but it also makes me think that then they probably haven't undone it, because the way I package these things, it would take a brave person to open the packaging.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't want to, because you'd be going through layers. So
yeah, I mean, with this crockery that I sent to this woman and she claimed some was smashed, they would have had to really chuck that about to smash it. Each one was individually wrapped and then had cardboard between everything, and then it was boxed and reboxed.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, I was just reading in the chat, there's a few people were talking about the fact that I was saying they're phasing out PPI. I can't remember where I got that information from, and I haven't had confirmation from Royal Mail yet. I'm in conversation with them about that. So yeah, don't take my word for that. It's just, I can't remember who told me. But yeah, so I'm looking into alternatives in case that is the case. Somebody was saying that I'm looking young and fresh. Have I had Botox? Really? I think it's just the light. I'm using natural light for once. So that might be it. But no, the thought of someone sticking needles in my face is never going to happen.
Looking super relaxed.
Maybe that's it. I've had a week off. Nick, when you do, you can do a video on PPI to click and drop switch over. Yeah, if that's what I have to do, or if that's what I choose to do, yeah, I'll certainly talk about it. Yeah, a lot of talk about postage and stuff.
There you go. There you go. Darren said I had a DVD repackaged from my Jiffy bag into a plain poly mailer by GSP. It arrived cracked case. It was an £80 DVD. See that? So it has happened to someone then.
Yeah, that just seems so indiscriminate though. If it's some things and not others.
Yeah, well, I think they must just randomly have a certain quota of items to pick, and if you're going to be sending a lot of high value stuff, it does make you a little bit wary. I would hate to think that someone would repackage something I've repackaged. I'm when it comes to shipping internationally, especially when it comes to vintage electronics, I know how I like to package things, and I would be mortified to know that someone that doesn't really care has just arbitrarily, is that the word? I don't know,
Yeah.
arbitrarily picked my package out and to check it for whatever reason they may have, and then do like a terrible job at repackaging it. Because I know you can then say, well, it shouldn't bother you because either way, if it arrives damaged because they've done a bad job, you're still going to be covered. So, Darren, I mean, I'm guessing you were probably reimbursed, or it probably wasn't an issue in terms of the money, but it does become an issue because you want to provide good service for your customers, and you don't want them smashing up vintage hi-fi or anything retro or rare. You don't want it to get smashed up because you want the customer to receive the item. Really, I mean, I know in the money sense, as long as everyone gets their money, it's fine, but it's not quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just reading in here about more stuff about Royal. Yeah, I need to find out more about that. I'm not even sure if they are phasing out my PPI yet, but I will find out. Oh, Joe, my pack rat's in there. Hi, he says hello, UK.
Lonnie's in here. Margaret's in here as well now.
Oh, hi, Margaret and Lonnie. Twin Red Dragons has a question. Let me see what that is. Nick, when you started selling, how did you manage your money? I keep spending all my money back into, it says stock, but I think you mean stock, back into stock. E.g., did you put money away for tax, food, bills, stock? Any advice? It's not easy, especially when you're starting out, because, well, Zaheer probably has more insight into that because he's kind of where I was, 10 to 15 years ago. But yeah, we kind of juggled money for a while because obviously we had rent back then. We had to invest back into the business, and we had everyone, all the bills everyone else has. But yeah, all I can say is it's not easy. How much do you give back to the business? How much do you keep for yourself? But we had a lot of sacrifices in the first couple of years. So that kind of gives you an idea. What about yourself, Zaheer? What advice could you give?
Just like you said, it's not for the faint of heart. There are times where we've been down to a low level in funds, and then the question is, well, if you get scared at that point, and then you don't reinvest, then you're cutting off your income. So sometimes you might feel that, oh, I better stop buying stock because I'm low on funds and I've got bills to pay. But you've got to sometimes take a chance, because you've got to look long term. You don't just have bills to pay this month, you'll have bills to pay for the next forever. So it's about putting that money into, you have to put your money where you're going to make money. That's the bottom line. And to be honest, that is going to be stock. It really is. I almost feel like saying don't ever stop investing in stock. And I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't listen to me. But how I personally feel is, if you stop investing in stock, you can't, or you even if you cut it down, I mean, cut down anything else that you can, but don't cut down how much you invest in stock, is what I'd say, because it's the most important thing.
I think there's a reason why a lot of resellers that have been doing this long term end up in the position we're in, where we have stock stashed away here, there, and everywhere, because we've all been to that point where it's like, oh crap, what do I do now? I've got nothing left. And that's a feeling that's not good. It's like, I've got no money to invest. I've run out of stock. So
how am I going to make more? Yeah.
So it's like, once you've been there a couple of times, it's like, I'm just going to buy stock whenever I see it.
Exactly.
And it's like a safety blanket, really, or a security blanket. That's what I meant. Having stock in the loft, having stock here, having stock in the spare room. Like, I know I'm okay. If the worst case happened, and I got ill for a couple of months, we'd still be okay. You know what I mean? I think that's why naturally resellers who've been in the game for a decade or more have a shitload of stock behind them.
Yeah, I didn't see that at first, because my impression at first was very much, oh, you've got to be efficient and lean, and you shouldn't be sat on stock. And I still stand by the fact that you don't just be sat on it. What I mean by that is, you shouldn't be buying stuff that just doesn't sell or takes forever to sell. I don't want to do that. However, you do want to know that you've got potential money in the bank. That stock that you're talking about is only great if you ever come into a bind and you want to list some stuff. You're hoping it's going to sell. You don't want to get into a bind and then list a bunch of stuff only to find that it's long tail and it's still not going to do you any favors. It's
Yeah.
only going to do you favors if it liquidates straight away into cash in your pocket. And I think that's what I love at the moment is the fact that I've got all this stuff that I've been building up recently, and it's nice when you trip over an amp and think, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the whole journey is just a learning curve. And we've changed what we do. We've changed our strategy several times, and we're never going to get the solution because the game changes while you're learning it. You see what I mean? It's like, so we said this 100 times, but you just have to be prepared to evolve and change what you do, take a few risks, and see that as part of the challenge and part of the fun. If you can enjoy that side of it, great, all the better. And I love the fact that this is constantly changing. It keeps it alive for us, really. So
yeah, I mean, I think I would definitely be. I think I've probably changed my opinion on things so many times since I've started. Like
yeah,
I've probably held every opinion and position there is to hold. But the one thing that I will say has been a constant is just like you said, is the ability to adapt and take chances, and just to use some guts. I think that is one thing that is constant. But definitely in terms of how you apply those strengths, it really does depend on where you're at.
yeah. And not be afraid to try things out. I think it was Monty who said, not this week but last week, that if you're not prepared to fail, you're not ready to succeed. And that's such a good quote, because it basically says you shouldn't be scared of something not working out. If that fear stops you from trying, you're never going to succeed, because you can't get past that level of fear of failing. I'm not scared of failing. I've failed, plenty of times, but it's led on to better things. And every failure is a big learning lesson, and it makes you better next time. You see what I mean? So the fear of failure can be crippling, but try not to let it be. Just move past it.
And when you find that you might be doing things or offering things that others aren't, that's going to put you in that better position. I mean, I've talked about this before. For example, I often feel that the fact that I'm willing to pretty much ship anything gives me an advantage over a lot of other sellers who aren't prepared to ship anything, just by that simple thing. So just trying different things out, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes as well. So
definitely.
160 people in the chat now, basically.
Well, yeah,
159. So fantastic.
Welcome everybody. There's just myself and Zaheer today. Every other week there's just the two of us, and we catch up and chat about Tat in general. I was just looking in. Someone's asking, when can we see you and the wife on Bargain Hunt, Nick? No plans at the moment. Steve Green has said he stopped shipping postcards through GSP because he had a problem with that.
Wow, really? Postcards?
Yeah, I don't know what that.
I would have thought postcards would be a problem just from the cost of it. Just the cost of shipping a postcard would be a lot more via GSP, I'd imagine, rather than just sticking it in a international like letter.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem was.
Maybe it was cost. I don't know. But
I
it
was
seems.
just going to show some of these. I don't know if I can turn around with my earbud in though. I've been busy sorting out from that mega haul I had when I had a van load of stuff last September. I put a load of these aluminium water bottles in the loft, and I've been slowly getting them all down last night and today. They're such cool things. I must have 50 different designs. Some of them are these Movember ones. Check that out. In November they did a charity Movember thing.
Yeah.
And they're just so cool. They're made by SIG, so they're quite high end. And we've got like obviously a more of a girly style one with orchids or whatever they are. And some beefy ones. Check that out. All Swiss made aluminium, really cool. So my challenge once we go off air is to go up in the loft and get the other like 300 or 400 down. This one I was showing Zaheer before we went live. Vivian Westwood. Looks like a limited edition thing.
That's gotta be worth good money.
Who knows? But
Who
yeah,
knows?
I think it was about 450 I bought, and they
Wow.
average at around £10. So I'm itching to get these on, ready for festival season and summer, obviously. So yeah, although I'm taking a break, I'm still kind of semi-working, sorting all
Well,
this.
that's the thing. You do always, I've been relaxing today, but I've still got like a little box that's going to go off to FBA down there, and I'm going to be doing some listing this evening just to chill out. But I'll be doing it while I'm listening to music or whatever, or just
I did a little bit of listening today, and I was strangely productive because I had that doesn't matter if I do, doesn't matter if I don't kind of attitude. I bashed out quite a few just because I was chilled out about it, and it was just nice.
bashed out quite a few.
Yeah, that sounded all sorts of wrong.
It did, yeah. That's why I had to bring it up.
Oh dear. Let me scroll down. Lots of people chatting in there. Oh, there's Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Um, Kevin Rosen, question: how have your sales been? I had a terrible weekend, and then sales rocketed on Monday. We had we were okay up until Sunday, Monday, when we had our worst 2 days for like a year or so. One day was nearly a zero, and we'd been averaging 200 to £400 a day before that, and then it just fell off a cliff. I think it was just because the sun came out.
Yeah, our weekend was terrible. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday actually. Today's been marginally better, but still poo. But I'm really not concerned because I know all it takes is a couple of sales and
Yeah, and we're
and
looking at it,
yeah,
and we tend to look at it on a monthly basis, and we're
yeah,
we're fine, you know. So it's all good. But yeah, eBay is up and down. At least we've got a consistent trickle from Amazon to back it up as well. So that's good. But I do need to get more stock up to Amazon, and I do need to look at those fees. Everyone was talking earlier about the fee increases. I need to actually find out how that's going to affect me. Um, Indie Chick is asking, can you drop things off yourself to the Derby GSP place? I don't think that's an option available. I'm not sure. I think Tom tried that. Didn't he go up there once?
yeah. I don't think you're allowed.
I don't think they have that as an option, no. Anne is saying you have to invest to grow. I'm way behind in the chat, sorry guys. But yeah, going back to what we were saying about having to keep feeding your business with money, even when you don't have much, it's a vicious cycle. Yeah, Carrie Ann saying her sales were bad at the weekend. Yeah, I've seen this pattern before. When the weather is suddenly hot, everyone just forgets their normal life and goes out and puts their shorts on, goes and mows the lawn or whatever. Like we did. We went to the coast and just eBay was the last thing on my mind. Yeah, Retro Cable said it was slow. And the Exit Thread said he had decent sales. So, always someone bucking the trend. Johnny, let me see what that question is. I've been reselling part-time for 6 months, and I have on average 100 items at any one time on eBay. Should I open an eBay shop subscription? Would it help sales? I don't think having a shop necessarily helps sales. It means someone can click into your shop and only browse your stuff, which sometimes helps sales. But you'll just have to go in and work out how much the fee is for the shop and how much you're paying on average a month to list your 100 items or relist them, depending on how long your bite nails are running or whether you're doing auctions. You'd have to work out your situation and then work it out financially from there. But all that information is available on eBay. Well, I did a video about it recently, actually, so you can check that out. I miss Nick's board game videos. Can you do one soon? Well, I haven't really been buying, so. And when I do pick up board games, I don't tend to share them unless there's something unusual, because I've shared them so many times and everyone's seen Monopoly. You know what I mean? You don't want to see another one. Although I did pick up, saying that, oh, I don't have it handy. I picked up a Dublin issue of Monopoly sealed, which is really nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I think those are the only ones that I think I would be.
Oh, your mic's gone right now.
Has it gone? Has it gone Dalek? Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody. Somebody messaged me on Facebook, PM'd me about they'd got into reselling and they're buying up lots of board games. And a lot of it that I looked at was really average stuff. And you do need to be careful if you're going to get into that niche, because a lot of the stuff just isn't worth handling. It's not worth the time and effort. So try and go for specialist stuff if you can. Stuff that looks unusual, stuff you haven't heard of, probably worth going on, or at least look it up. Oh, this chat keeps jumping. You right there? You got?
Can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you. Can you guys hear Zaheer in the chat? Let me read another question. Kevin, how many items do you typically put in an FBA box? I have half a box here. Can't decide if I should just send it anyway to get it out of the way. How many items do you put in? It totally depends what you're sending. I've got a load of Thomas play sets up there that would probably, I think there's 6 or 8 of them, and that'd fill a box on its own. So it depends what you're sending, really. But yeah, I've been in that position where you're trying to fill a box, and after a while I just send it off. It costs me a £5 to send a box, so as long as you think it's economical, just send it away. But I guarantee what will happen, the day after you send it, you'll pick up some really good FBA stock, and then you'll wish you hadn't. I can't hear you, Z. Oh, I think Z has managed to break his headset. Let me scroll down and see what's going on. Oh, scroll too far. Oh, this annoying thing. Have I done any work on my board game? No, not since we last spoke about it, I'm afraid. I really haven't. £400 and down. This is quite impressive. Listed from the car boot itself, like a boss, on Sunday. Back of the car. Only one item though. That's pretty impressive. The most impressive sale I ever had for speed. When we had our gaming shop, we used to trade in games like CEX and GameDo. And I sold predominantly online through Amazon at that point. And a guy came in, traded a load of stuff. I gave him an offer of however much it was, 30 quid for his stack of games. And he said, yeah, I'll take the credit. I'll go and find some stuff. So I knew at that point he was trading it. So I listed a couple directly on Amazon. And one of them sold before he'd even used his credit and left the shop. So that always sticks in my mind. But yeah, with mobile technology now, we can list immediately. How are you doing there, Z?
Any luck?
That's better.
It's still or not? No?
I can hear you.
What about now?
Yep. Whoa, what's going on?
I don't have a clue. I don't know. Is that any better? Can you hear me?
You need it quite close to your mouth if you're going to use that one, I think. It's quite directional by the sound.
Is that rubbish or is that okay?
That's okay.
Yeah? I'll just hold it like this then.
Yeah.
It's not that one, is it? It's not that one, is it?
That's louder.
Okay, that must be the one that's plugged in. I don't know. Anyway, that will do, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let us know in the chat if you can hear Zaheer as well.
Such a... Okay,
well,
I don't know.
Hopefully, if they do phase out this way of broadcasting, I'll have to go to whatever you use, and then it won't be an issue.
No, I just need to get a proper microphone. I think I'm just frustrated. It's just annoying, that is. Okay.
I was just dipping in the chat and answering a couple of...
Oh, okay.
Let me see what's going on. I've still got the tail end of an allergic reaction going on, so excuse me if I'm sniffing.
Yeah. Nice. Let's have a look. Retro Cable has a question. Have you noticed a bit of an increase at boot sales? Asking prices seem to have gone up so far this season. Have you been to any boot fairs this season yet?
Only the end of our local one in Hitchin. So I was just mopping up a few odds and sods. I got a few bargains, so I certainly didn't notice at that point.
I've got to say, if I'm honest, I've not noticed it. I've picked up stuff really cheap so far this year. I don't want to jinx myself, but I've picked up a turntable for like £7 that sold for over 100. I've picked up a CD recorder for a fiver, which sold for over 100. I've not noticed anything. I mean, I think it can sometimes seem like that. Obviously, there are always going to be some sellers that are asking more money, but that's just those sellers rather than generally, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, certainly looking at a few hauls that people have had, certain people aren't having any trouble finding stuff they can resell. So it may have just have been that weekend for you, whoever asked the question.
Lonnie asked that, was I trying to fry bacon? This is Z using his vintage items. So yeah, getting a few comments about the and Simon says, should we all club together and buy Z a working mic? I am going to get a mic. There's no need to do anything like that. I am going to get a mic. My fleece is not causing the problem. Exit thread says, okay.
And Andrew Keane has asked me a question. When are you going to do an update video on all the sports stuff you got at the car boot? You need to get shifting that stuff. If you don't know what he's talking about, I'm being guilted into sorting this stuff out. It comes up so often. It's now 2.5 years ago. It was just before I started making videos that I picked this stuff up.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning it in the real early videos.
Yeah, I just started making videos, and it was all still in boxes in the office next to. We used to rent offices in a little bit of warehouse space, and it was all just sat in boxes. So I made a video just sharing some of it, and then we left that premises when we had this built, and it went in the loft because we didn't have space, we weren't organized, and it's never come down again. So that's been 2.5 years in the loft. I sold some of the swimming gear out of it, and that's it. So yeah, I do need to get it down, but I'm doing these bottles first. And then I'll think about it. But also up there, we've got bags and bags and bags of adult clothing that's sat up there since we closed down that unit. Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Plenty of stock.
Yeah, my security blanket's out of control.
Like you said, if you ever needed it, you can just pop upstairs and there's like, tons and tons of stuff to list.
Yeah, but it's probably a little bit over the top at the moment, I'll be honest. Oh, there's that question about boot sales, so I'm kind of caught up. Sold a full. This is Adam Incredible. Sold a full set of brand new Mario Hot Wheels cars last week for £57. Wow, I've not seen those. They sound cool.
That is pretty cool.
Took the time it took me in the shower to sell, and went to Belgium. Wow, did you get that? I've undersold these feeling. During the solar eclipse, I had 15 of the eclipse glasses, sold all of them within 5 minutes of listing. That's an in-demand product right there. I love it when you have a product that is totally in demand and you just can't get enough. Rarely happens, but yeah. And if you hit that sweet spot on Amazon, it's amazing. Exit to Ed says Disney stuff is selling great for me at the moment. Okay, cool.
I've not had any Disney things for a while, I don't think. Anything Disney.
We haven't really. That pair of mugs we picked up, they were a nice little sale.
Yeah, they went.
We took 40, I think, on those. Luke's asking me if my ceiling rafters have started to sag under the weight of everything. Not yet. I've reinforced them. Yeah, okay. At some point soon, I will endeavour to get that sports stuff down.
It needs to happen. I mean, can you even remember what you got from it? I mean,
I had somebody asked me a question on that video. That video still gets quite a lot of views, and somebody messaged me on that video, so I clicked through to answer the question, and the video started playing. So I ended up watching it, and I was like, wow, there's some good stuff in there. There's like loads of sealed like Puma gear and rugby tops and everything you could imagine from a sports shop. So yeah, it's all still up there. And there's a great big box full of like trophies, unengraved trophies and all of that stuff. Yeah. Okay, I'll get it down and do a video.
Oliver Remain has Oliver Romain has a question. Do you ever admit defeat and get rid of unproductive stock at charity shops?
Yeah, I have done.
Yeah, loads of times.
Yeah. I mean, we find if you pick up job lots of stuff, there'll be a load of stuff in there that's either a bit damaged or it's not worth reselling or whatever. Especially with media, I sometimes I just buy a whole crate, and yeah, I end up with a lot. Although that stuff I've tended to just send off to Magpie if it's rubbish. But yeah, we've got a few crates of stuff we're going to take to a boot sale in the next couple of weeks and clear a load, and then we will donate to charity. Obviously not complete rubbish. The stuff that is resellable we'll donate to charity. Have either of you ever sold any sports memorabilia, like signed photos or wrestling boxing belts? I've not had any signed stuff. Have you?
The only thing I sold that was even close to that was I resold a replica boxing belt that was being sold during like a Tyson Holyfield fight, and it was obviously one of those things that was sold in the foyer, and then if you were really lucky, you could maybe have a shot at getting it signed, because it just had like Mike Tyson written on the plate, and it was a really good quality belt. But it wasn't signed, and I've not really gotten into like signed or autographed stuff, simply because just never really seen any around, and plus I think I'd be a bit dubious on how to prove its authenticity.
Yeah, I was going to say there's so many fakes about. I remember seeing it was like Watchdog or something. There was an eBay seller, really big eBay seller. He's been signing pictures for years.
Yeah,
sending them all over the world, and he got nicked. I think he got sent down for fraud.
Yeah, he did. I think some really unhappy Doctor Who fans were on it, I think. And yeah, he'd been signing these photographs. Yeah,
and doing it for so long. They were saying on the program there must be tens of thousands just from this one guy around the world in people's collections that are just him vaguely signing.
Well, the thing is, like they cottoned on to him just because of the amount he seemed to have, because he offered them all with authentic certificates of authenticity and whatever. But obviously he was doing it on like this mass scale, so he wasn't.
I went to a red carpet and I met David Tennant, and he signed 1,000 pictures for me.
Like
that's going to happen. He stood there for 3 hours.
Yeah, just stood there signing. Yeah, me and my mate Dave. How
are we doing? Blimey, it's 2 minutes to 7. Crumbs.
Oh, wow.
Just trying to open this chat up. Hold on. Kevin Ryson, you're crazy, Nick. Thanks. I'll take it as a compliment. You will wander around in a field for hours and hope of finding something good when you've got boxes of great stuff just sitting in a loft. Yeah, this is true. I am itching to get out again. I can't deny it.
There's something about it, isn't it, when it's a nice sunny day, blue sky.
Yeah. We certainly this year are going to try and scale down what we're picking up. I mean, Andrea's been buying a lot of clothes in charity recently, and I keep reminding her we've probably got, I don't know how many bin bags full of decent adult clothing in the loft. But it's not the same just opening the bag as it is going out hunting for it.
Did you say crumbs, Nick?
Did I? No, I don't think so. I was just reading, Gary said rare and signed got banned from eBay, so maybe that was the chat we were talking about. Don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Neville said just hit the like button. Who's next? Yeah, if you want to show us some love with the like button, please do. We're at 45 thumbs up and 4 thumbs down. Oh, I've got to the end of the chat. There you go. Perfect.
Not bad timing. Raz says that he had repaired 2 boxing belts, WBO and a Longsdale belt, when we had our jewelers. That must have been a pretty cool thing to get your hands on, even if it is to repair it. And CN10 says, got any tips for a teen that wants to start eBay reselling clothing?
Any tips for a teen who wants to start? If if you don't have much money behind you to spend, a good place to start would be your own wardrobe. That's what I tend to recommend to people just first starting out in this. Go through your own stuff because it's essentially free and you can gain some experience, you can gain some feedback by selling it off. It doesn't really matter what you get back on it because your investment is zero. So start there, and then when you've got some money coming, you can then go out to the charity shops or car boot sales and start learning what sort of stuff you want to pick up. But yeah, start at home is what I'd recommend. Nick, are you interested in my two pasta makers? From Lisa. I don't know. PM me on Facebook and send me some pictures. Sounds interesting. Exit to red. Why did car boots start ridiculously early hours? I've been saying this for years. Why? Why?
What's the point?
Yeah, I don't know.
I suppose it's good in a competition sense because it makes it a little bit more difficult rather than it starting at a regular time.
Yeah.
Gives us a bit of an advantage if you can be bothered to do the early wake up. Subbers Collectible says, question, I have a chance to buy a load of NAD and Cambridge vintage audio. Is it any good? NAD stuff is good. That's a good manufacturer. Cambridge audio, it depends on the model more. It's okay, but it's not like great. But NAD stuff tends to fetch good prices depending again on what it is. But they're decent. It depends on how much they're asking and what the items are. But like with anything,
so are they hi-fi makes, are they? NAD and
yeah, NAD's a hi-fi, good manufacturer.
Wow.
But the thing is, they're good, but they're not like, I wouldn't say they're the best or anything, or even close. They're more they tend to be what people get into when they first get into like separates and things. They're good manufacturers, but again, like with anything, they've got different ranges, and it really depends on what they're offering.
I'm so oblivious to a lot of it. I mean, that Bang & Olufsen stuff, would you see that as like middle of the range, Bang & Olufsen, or are they?
Okay, I'm gonna sound really horrible now, but I don't like things like Bang & Olufsen, Bose. I don't count that as real hi-fi. It's top of the line lifestyle style hi-fi. It's right. It's not considered. It wouldn't be considered like real hi-fi like by a lot of people. Not me. Oh, wow. I'm it can cause a lot of issues, but Bang & Olufsen is one of those brands that is really nice, but you are paying you buy into the ecosystem, you buy one of their items, and they're often extremely expensive for what you get. They're good, they're great stuff. I mean, they're high end, they're high end, but they're not.
So you're paying for the name more than you're paying for the quality.
No, that's not true either. It's difficult to explain. They're just not considered. They're not considered. If someone out there considers themselves to be like an audiophile, then the chances are they won't look at manufacturers like Bose and Bang & Olufsen as great brands. They'd see them as great John Lewis-y style high street top of the line, really all singing all dancing, but they're not like super.
There's a whole other level beyond that.
It's just snobbery. In a way, it's snobbery, but I mean,
but it's the same in any niche, because if you're talking
right.
jewelry or fashion, there's that upper echelon, isn't there? That where most of us don't ever even fear to tread because of the expense and the knowledge needed. But
it's one of those things that, like, for example, a lot of the brands that audiophiles will go for, I mean, if you look out for them, I mean, there's people still running systems that are just now defunct. I mean, there was a company called Tag McLaren, and people paid exorbitant amounts of money. Exorbitant amounts of money. And this stuff came out when the first McLaren supercar came out. They used to have their speakers in the showroom on Park Lane in London. And these speakers are like active speakers, huge speakers worth thousands of pounds, and people are really into that kind of stuff. Then you got brands like Meridian and Cord, and then there's what's the other one, Krell, and there's a lot of brands like that. Those would be the kinds of brands that audiophiles would go for, and they'd tend to look at B&O and Bose they kind of tend to look down on it a little bit. I mean, I'm not an audiophile.
You just know all this stuff.
No, I'm not an audiophile at all. I just like the old stuff. Yeah. I just like, it's not always.
What it comes down to me is, if there's money in it, buy it. I just noticed David McGregor said, would I be interested in his toaster? It does 4 slices. Maybe, because we've only got a 2-slice toaster. We're in the dark ages here in Hitchin.
Yeah, I've only got 2 slices as well.
Damn, David, he's a baller. He's got a 4-slicer.
Boiling with,
He knows how to make toast.
Yeah, but like with anything, like you said, there's whatever the niche is, it's not always clear cut what's going to have value. It's not just that's not just certain niches that you can apply it to. It applies to anything. Whatever it is, you need to have the knowledge to know what's considered entry level, what's considered a bit better, and what's considered like the best. Now, that applies to fashion, that applies to footwear, doesn't it? I mean, if you buy, if someone says to you, I bought a pair of Nikes from the charity shop, I paid a tenner, is that a good deal? You can't answer that question from that statement. Totally. Were they kids' Nikes, or were they like running shoes which have been worn into an inch of their life, or were they Jordans? Were they Air Max 90s? Were they some limited edition? It's all knowledge, and
if you dig down into any topic, there's a whole other level of knowledge. It's like if someone said to me, "Oh, I've just found a Depeche Mode album. Is it worth picking up?" Chances are no. But I could tell you a handful that I would bite your arm off to pick up because I know they're rare. Certain editions, and if you dig down into any topic, it's going to be the same. Well, and that's when knowledge, it becomes key, really, and king.
Yeah, and that's why we always talk about being passionate about what you do. It's one of those things. It's Lee McCullens actually just says, I love selling in my niches. I love what I buy and sell. It makes it so much fun. Yeah, I mean, it'll make it fun, and it will give you an advantage as well, won't it? So, it's those things.
Well, we'll wrap this up shortly because we're at 10 past the hour. I just saw somebody was saying that it was Sue. Sue said, I watched your disco trip on Facebook. Hilarious. Kept it going on repeat. That's when I was dancing around to this little spinning disco wand thing. I took one of them around to my sisters and gave it to her twins. So they're going to drive them mad with it now. Right. So, do you want to keep going, or should we wrap things up here? There's still a lot of chat going on.
Darren's just asked here, looking at a B&O turntable, any tips for going for it, things to watch out for, etc. I don't have a lot of knowledge on that, to be honest with you, Darren. I would say that turntables shouldn't be much of an issue unless you want to make sure that that all of its functions will work when plugged into a non-B&O system, because I think sometimes with some of their kit, it's not just straight cut. Like they don't use standard connections all the time. So I'm not 100% sure on that. Things to watch out for, etc. I wouldn't be able to really tell you. I mean, it's going to be limited in terms of what cartridge, etc. It's got on there, but I can't give you much info on that, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, people are trying to sell me their household appliances. I've now had enough of a printer.
Oh, really?
Kevin's trying to sell me his printer now. I'm good for a printer. Quick question for you, Zaheer, from Jerome.
Yeah.
What is something that Zaheer wants to master selling next?
I want to master anything. I don't think I'm a master at selling anything.
Mastering one niche is enough.
Yeah,
I think that could take a lifetime.
I honestly wouldn't say it's I just like to, I think I've definitely noticed that if you pick things that you're more passionate about, though, you tend to get better results. So I'm going to focus a bit more on on things that I'm interested in terms of sourcing, but I don't think there's any other niches that I'm particularly fussed about selling in. But I don't really count myself out.
My niche should be household appliances. I've now been offered a whisk.
A whisk as well.
More toasters, and someone's got a freezer in the garden.
David, David McGregor says, I have B&O speakers built into my PC. I feel Z would be disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed, but there is an example of why you'd never consider B&O, Harman Kardon, Bose, Dr. Dre Beats, things like that. That's why you'd never consider them to be truly high end, because high end manufacturers don't put their names to, like high street goods. I know a lot of laptops and computers have got B&O sound written on them, or Harman Kardon, or whatever else they have in them. That's actually a good point. But no, I wouldn't be disappointed at all, David McGregor.
I'm just going to touch on 2 or 3 people have asked about what happened to Ken. I don't know. He stopped speaking to me, and he took all his videos down. Although I think his videos are back up. So just message him. I don't know what's going on with Ken. And on that, I think we would. Darren's just said he's sure he could find a couple of old kettles and an iron in the cupboard. I'm not collecting people's second-hand household appliances. I don't know how we've come to this.
Southwest Seller says next door has a mattress in their garden for a few weeks. Make me an offer. He's playing hardball.
Yeah. I'll pass. I'm fine. Right. Well, on that random surreal note, I think we should wrap this up. Thanks for chatting with me, Zaheer, and thanks for everybody for joining us. Currently on 143 viewers, so if you want to leave us a thumbs up, please do. We managed to reach 67 currently.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure people are going to smash the like button.
Paul Rhodes says, why is Nick buying household items? I'm not, okay? Don't start sending them to
the
me.
new rumor now. Yeah, Nick's buying household goods.
I'm not. I don't want any. Oh, it's because someone said, do I want their pasta maker earlier? And I said, send me a message. Yeah. No, I'm not in need of fridges or mattresses. Anyway,
smoothie makers.
Smoothie makers.
Yeah. Oh, you see so many of those, don't you?
Yeah.
It's just...
Oh, God. What have I started? Anyway, thank you so much, Zaheer, and thanks for everyone for popping in. We will see you. Well, I'll be back on Sunday with Andrea, and Zaheer will be back on his channel on Friday, I'm guessing. Again?
Yep, Friday at 7, I think. Yeah, Friday at 7. Yep.
If you're not subscribed to Zaheer, I will drop a link below to Zaheer's channel. It might even be there already. Yeah. I'm not sure I was that organized. And yeah, go and check out Zaheer's channel. Anyway, thanks guys. We will see you soon. Bye for now.
Cheers. Thanks for watching.